for the crystal. It's just so much intricate things that A8 have to take into consideration. And if you look at the GameLab, it's safe to say that they are just taking this as just another day in the office.
Yep, another day in the office. They probably had like a bunch of scrims that they had to play today. They're looking a little tired, but it doesn't matter if they can just end this quick against A8. So, A8, you've got your leg up on them. Give it your best shot as we jump right into the draft here. GameLab on blue side, A8 Esports on the red.
It's good to see that A8 are still in high spirit, because at the end of this series, the loser has to play against Tupai Esports in an elimination best of 3. So the pressure is definitely on A8, but the drafts, well, so far the bans have been similar.
Yeah, I don't think the bans are really going to be changing here, but this time GameLab going to be banning out the Kadita, the Wanwan, again, meta picks overall, but it's very interesting to me that Kadita gets banned out, is actually worth banning out.
I guess for GameLab, they are, with how fast they're playing, you don't want to just get screw over by petrified Kadita, right? And
I mean, that's true, but then there's always like Udons that kind of do the same thing, where essentially they set a strategy, or they just really don't like pickoffs. We did see them ban out Kaja previously when they were on the red side.
And that's, I believe throughout the entirety of the Challenge Group stage, or even the Open Finals, Kaja has been on the ban list for GameLab.
Oh, for
We
sure.
just want to enable Takenaga, right? We want to be able to play fast and not worry about having someone kidnapped by our enemies. In this game, they decided to ban out Arlot.
Ah, okay, so GameLab's it's interesting. They ban out Kadita and they're like, you know what? Arlot as well as Valentina are also kind of good.
Those two heroes were picked by GameLab in Game 1.
Yeah, no, it continues to develop my ongoing conspiracy theory. I honestly, I don't think it's a conspiracy theory. It's just like maybe a psychological thing that teams always ban out what they think is good, and they pick it up for themselves later on because they think it's great.
And I think in GameLab's case, it is just kind of that subtle message, right? We ban out the heroes that we used in Game 1, we're going to crush you with another composition.
Yeah, oh, Kaja got let through this time. Okay. Yeah, that's why Kadita, when blue side bans out something that is not traditionally banned out. For example, we're talking about Frederick, we're talking about Kaja. You switch one of those out for something like Kadita, these other meta picks slip through the cracks, and unfortunately for red side, you only have 3 bans. You can't do too much with it. But I like the idea that A8 is going for. They're saying, you know what? Let's lock in the Cho. GameLab's absolutely hated pickoffs, so therefore we're going to be bringing it this game.
It is a good solution also. You don't get the Kaja, but you have Way of the Dragon to do almost the same thing, and you also have someone that can really play disruption in these team fights.
I mean, there is a situation where Kaja Divine Judgment's your marksman, and then Cho accidentally kicks him back into the enemy team.
that happens too.
It happens to the best of us.
It happens to the best. This is where I believe we would see Kesu having the same burden, well, the same responsibility as he did in Game 1 with the Grok. You just want to be able to harass that front line, not get dragged back at the same time.
I think more importantly, it gives him some playmaking capabilities, right? On the Grok, like, yes, he could force a play, but he would expect a GameLab with a much stronger counter engage. This time round, at least your options are safer. You don't necessarily have to fully commit to a pickoff unless it's clean.
And finally see that Farsa come out. The consensus in Game 1 was that both teams didn't pick the mages, but AA Esports just decided to pick that Farsa after seeing the Fire Mist, contrary to Game 1. So a bit of that switch up for A8. But for GameLab, they are not too worried. Still sticking with Fire Mist, still picking the Moskov. Ready to play it as fast as they did.
I don't know what scrims GameLab has been doing all day, but it feels like they've been playing this comp for a while here, and they're not deviating from it too much other than the Kaja, but then again, really, it doesn't make too much of a difference to the overall style. Then again, if we're talking about overall style, right? No Valentina, no Arla. Those were the 2 picks that GameLab actually abused last time. Are there any replacements for it? I feel like in terms of mages, not really, but then again, I could be wrong about this.
The Eve?
Eve doesn't seem too bad, but they already got the Farmist. They could put Farmist into the support position once again. That should be something to consider, but I don't know. Then where does Kaja go? Don't tell me that they're going to try and pull off like a blacklisting where they're going to give Kaja Retribution instead of Flicker.
Well, they banned the Yuzhong, which we don't see that much. A8 following up with the Glue ban. I was looking at GameLab and I was wondering, Uh, are they keeping Takenaga's hero for last? Well, they don't have the last pick, but that's what GameLab have been prioritizing for most of the series that they play.
Yes, they have been prioritizing Takenaga at the very least. I don't know. This draft is starting to look very strange here. GameLab banning out Yuzong, kind of odd. A8 Esports, they get rid of the Gulu, they get rid of the Martis. Okay, I can absolutely respect that. I think as of right now, A8 have the stronger draft on their side, but it's on condition, right? We still don't know who the gold laner is for A8.
This is a very important pick for A8 also. They've revealed the jungler, they've revealed that mid lane. Now it comes down to who A8 wants to prioritize. And so far, I think Arfi has also been on that, has been the most important member of the team. They first picked the first faced the Melissa for him last game, and now they revealed the Beatrix for Arfi.
I guess Arfi just feels a little bit more comfortable with the spacing on the Beatrix in comparison to something like the Melissa. I think the one thing I did notice is that Arfi was losing his trades mainly because he would throw the puppet, and unfortunately Moskov would, you know, dash forward to get out of its range to get an even better trade, maybe off of a minion. But most of the time, he was just winning out that lane. So the fact that he's taking the Beatrix, it's safe. I would have preferred to see the Claude if they really wanted to play it safe, but I think it's all right.
I guess it's also because they saw the Moskov getting picked so early by GameLab, right? So you get to hide that XP laner for last. But this is a hero that A8 Esports banned in Game 1. Now it's coming true. We not only see the Lancelot for Takenaga, we also see the Masha.
Dude, I feel so bad for Arfi. He's just gonna get run down every single time. This is a pure dive comp coming in from GameLab, a more traditional style of dive comp. But again, with tanks a lot, it's already hard to take him out. The Masha disarms you and can pretty much one-shot you with enough Sky Guardian's helm. So I don't know. I feel like A8 Esports, this Pharsa has a lot of work on her hands. But even if the Pharsa gets ahead, there's a majority of targets who either have iframes or are just too tanky to deal with.
And it also makes the life of the job, for Kesu a bit harder, right? Who do you kick away? There are, like you mentioned, there are iframes that you can avoid at Will of the Dragon when you time it correctly.
I think it has to be Masha here, right? It has to be Masha. Wait. They switched
is
it
this
up.
the XP lane, Cho?
Yes, it is. It's going to be the Fondir on that show. I respect it a lot because now that you can actually stop the dashes with the bouncing ball, A8 Esports have a really good opportunity against GameLab with their composition. It just depends who's going to be invested in.
Is there a chance that it's a Jungle Cho?
No, it can't be. I don't think it should. I don't think it should be. Flicker is too good. Again, when you have such a powerful ultimate like Way of the Dragon and as well as the Divine Judgment, Flicker is your best resource. It's your big enabler to make these heroes actually worth playing.
I'm gonna just, say out loud. I think it's just A8 playing the mind game, right? Put the Cho on Ozo first. We'll switch it last second.
I mean, it's definitely a flex pick for sure, but currently with the score being 1-love to GameLab, A8 Esports look to tie it up as GameLab going to be on blue side.
It actually is a Jungle Cho.
No, I can't believe it. All right, fair enough. Fondir, you play what you want.
Concussive Blast on the Fredrin. Does this change a lot though for A8?
Honestly, not really, but then again, I would have preferred that Cho just had the flicker because again, it's all about playmaking capabilities. As good as Ozil can actually get, even if his mechanics are absolutely perfect, it doesn't mean that he is limited. He's not limited by the cooldowns.
I guess you don't want the Cho Masha matchup, though I'm not sure how much difference it makes.
It doesn't matter. Cho just clears the wave and then after that just bails out like Benedetta. It really, you're not looking to 1v1 a Masha, honestly.
Yep. No one is.
No one is.
Fondir is doing the same. He's just going to walk up forward, try and clear the wave. It is under turret though, so Fondir can't really do too much. Just recall having to use that regeneration early on. Takenaga showing up. It's going to hit level 4 off of the passive experience, and Fondir is forced to flicker. Takenaga going for it anyways. First blood is going to come true right now. Havos draws that one. Takenaga able to run away in time. The lack of flicker is going to be a bit hard for Ozu. Takenaga not able to dodge it fully, and Havos is now going to just power on this show.
What? That, huh? Ozil had vision for retribution there? How did he still have it? Okay, I'm surprised. Maybe I saw that wrong. I could be wrong, but it didn't seem likely he was able to catch up there, or he shouldn't technically be able to. But whatever. At least they're able to get a kill back, and that's the most important thing.
This time Aizawa is the one who shows up. It's going to be a 2 versus 2. Richie is there to help. Fondia getting knocked out first to get rid of the hellbar from Havas. He now is down on his last leg. Big ultimate, but the co-ulta saves it. Havas, will he go down? Yes, he will. Taunted into the feather airstrike. Fondia also showing up. Aizawa gets away. Ozil not able to get that knockup.
What is Ozil doing on the bottom side of the map? Oh, Kesu!
Pinned to the wall. Damage follow-up. Dortmund forced to flicker. Oh, A8. So far, this is a better start compared to game 1, right?
Yeah,
sorta.
I mean, they started off with like 3 kills to 1 previously, so I would say let's give it a little bit more time to cook. But unfortunately for Ozil here, his clear speed isn't going to be as great in comparison to Takanaga. But that's the thing, right? We're seeing that GameLab is taking full advantage of the fact that, hey, Ozil is going to be playing on True. Yes, he did take the Demon Slayer, absolutely, but more importantly is that his top side is going to be slowed down. That's why we're seeing GameLab actually prodding around that top side to see whether or not Ozil made his way, or if AA Esports accidentally left the window open.
If you're Takanaga, you just power farm, right?
Yeah.
No one to stop you. Cho doesn't outpace you overall. This puts a lot of that responsibility for AA to find success for early. But GameLab, they're ready for this.
Well, let's see whether or not they respect Dokman.
Two-man knockup, better airstrike, pinned into the wall. That's what you're looking for if you're AA. Richie even gets away and Arlie finds that kill, but Takinaga, oh, he's ready to do some damage. Ozil is also there. AA Esports have the numbers.
Beautiful combo coming out for the side of AA. They made sure... Okay, Kesu is going to be alive. They made sure that everything was accounted for, right? They managed to get maximum value out of Tyrant's Revenge into the Tyrant's Rage. And unfortunately, Havas, he's not exactly the biggest playmaker in the world. He's Masha. He's just got to take care of the EXP lane and rotate accordingly.
And both XP laners just cutting the waves.
This is
gonna be in this deadlock for a while.
Look, this is reminding me about Uranus and Esmeralda, and I don't want to go back to those times. But you know, I'll gladly take these.
Yeah, you'll be happy to know that they're easier to take down. Havas in enemy territory, backup coming in, but Aizawa don't really want to be there though. AA Esports should be able to pick this up. Havas trying to run away, but they have decent crowd control. Not sufficient. Havas actually gets out.
Yep, he did have to use the sprint here. Counter engage.
Aizawa, can you get up from this one? Yes, he can. Unfortunately, Fondia did force the call alter out, so AA will be happy to know that GameLab doesn't have that Faramis out, but they did lose early up top. They would get this turtle for themselves.
Oh, that's so sad. It's so sad. Oh, the patch.
Would have had enough damage before the patch.
Dude, the Appraiser's Rash should have 100% killed there. It should have 100% killed. Oh. It's such a feels bad moment, but then again, you know, times are changing and you got to adapt quick. But looking at Fredrin down on the bottom side of the map doesn't, again, he's basically stuck there. He's deadlocked against this Masha no matter what. It's all about forcing priority and the timings of when they want to fight. So when you see Fondir or Havas actually go for the proxy and don't return to lane, you know something is happening.
And this, you know, perfectly summarizes up the discussion we had earlier on, right? You mentioned how GameLab, they know what buttons to press. They know how to draw AA Esports away. Right now, they should be able to get this kill onto Fondia.
Oh!
And this is a big one for Takinaga. So AA Esports looking for returns in the top side. Kesu tanking out as much turret shot as possible. They will be able to get rid of Dortmund, but can they get out of this predicament? It seems like the answer is yes. And GameLab not able to respond.
Not able to respond, and I think more importantly, I think A8 have just realized the lane swap that had occurred, and now, unfortunately, they can't really do too much. They're stuck in this lane. Fredrin's going to be coming back against Moskov. Comes the engage, though.
Kesu missing the knockup, but Ozil, he's going to commit nonetheless, trying to get rid of that call Alter Hell Pool, but Takinaga will show up. They drag Kesu back, forcing the flicker out of the Kufra. GameLab does have numbers up top. The Divine Judgment also ready. Going with the conceal. They see Arlie not able to get to him in time.
Really good call coming in from AA. They prevent themselves from getting dove. They might lose. Oh no, they lane swapped again! They lane swapped again. They just need to walk back into lane this time instead of doing the lane swap. But instead, we do see Masha here trying to make her way and crack this tier 1. But mid lane's being highly contested and battle spells are being thrown left, right, and center.
This is where we start to see GameLab really just outpacing A8. They just keep the Masha up top. They took the tier 1. Kesu missing that dive means that no one can stop Yuktizi. He's actually just going to fight this. Feather airstrike used from Richie. Yuktizi dropping low, punished by the Farsa, but the rest of GameLab are showing up. Kesu gets the knockback, not into a wall though. They get the kick to follow up, but the kick don't straight into Richie, forcing him to fly away, and Ozu ends up losing his life to Takinaga.
I'm just gonna ignore the fact that RP did actually use the flicker to try to secure a kill. But Richie, you know, his passive, really good, really good. Executes people because it's a slow-moving projectile, but as long as he lands an ability, then the bird comes flying. At the end of the day, I think A8, unfortunately, is playing a little too passive, right? I think they're waiting for GameLab so very often to make that first move that unfortunately this lane swap profited GameLab a little bit more than it did for A8 Esports. Like a 1K gold lead was developed off of it, and this turtle had zero priority for the side of A8, who had to actually reset from the bottom side tier 1.
We are slowly witnessing what GameLab did in game 1, just outpacing A8 Esports so far.
No.
Yuktizi?
He's not going to do it, right?
Well, with Dogman around, probably. Here we go, Dogman shows up. Yuktizi now gets free raid. They drag him close to the wall, pin him down. Fondia still durable. Maybe not for long though, the Appraiser's Wrath only doing so much. Forcing him to flicker. Backup is going to be there. Richie showing up. Yuktizi getting bombarded with the Feather Airstrike, but they don't have enough damage to take down the Moskov. So at the end of the day, it's still Fondia who is losing out that health.
The worst part is that Yuktizi still... No! Dogman is playing so disrespectful. They've already lost a tier 2 on top side, and an inhibitor might actually be going down. No, it's still alive, but the tier 1 at the bottom should eventually fall to Yuktizi.
I feel like the only guy that can keep this Masha in check is Fondia. But they, I mean, ever since that lane swap, A8 Esports have been falling behind in terms of pacing. And also, I'm not really sure if you want to be there, buddy.
He should be fine. Yeah. He still has the Shinpo. Shinpo still has high value here, but Fondia and as well as RP sick of the lane swaps going on to Havas at the same time.
This arm buying some time for Havas. Backup isn't coming anytime soon. Fondia just needs to stick onto him. The taunt is good, but does he have enough though? I don't think he has enough. Gets Havas back. They've already lost Kesu. They need to get Havas. Finally clips him underneath the turret.
Well, that's actually not that bad. Kesu ends up dying, but buys a lot of time.
Oh,
they're dead.
Yeah, recall cancel.
Oh!
Maybe they can get a return. They do. The Divine Judgment is going to be there on Arlie, and Fondia won't be able to save his fellow core this time. Maybe Ozio can arrive. Fondia just needs to buy some time. No alternate for him. Fondia with a dancing shoes, healing up with the ult, but Takinaga is just too strong.
Bruh, Ozil ditched him so fast. He ran up, and my guess is that Fondia is like, I'm dead anyway. I'm going to try to outplay this. And Ozil was like, take care, brother. We'll remember you, as he rotates away from the fight. And I think if he just committed, they probably would have won that.
Aizawa was able to find Richie, now pulls him into danger territory, forcing him to use the flicker. But if Richie, he disengaged from this fight, the rest of his team might not be able to do so. They did catch Yuktizi. Arlie credited with the kill, but GameLab still taking over this jungle. Arlie almost getting clipped by the Shadow Stampede.
Yeah, I mean, GameLab just playing extremely fast now. Every moment they can actually aggress against A8, they do so. This is the mid-game. This is where they actually excel at, where the lack of turrets gives A8 Esports less time to think about where's the safest area. Ozil?
He's going to be in danger. Kidnap, able to still get away. Fondia putting his body in front, but Takinaga happily challenging this veteran. Fondia just needs to put his body in tank as much as possible, but he's just gonna be surrendered over to Takinaga, and GameLab pounces on A8. This is not a fight that A8 can win.
No, they cannot, and unfortunately for Richie, does he have the wings by wings? Oh, he almost kills Aizawa here!
But Aizawa still survives, and in fact grabs the kill for himself. We even see the pendant getting purchased by Aizawa, so you get a healing reduction for GameLab. It's getting dicier for A8. Kesu only guy left standing. The inhibitor goes down.
Oh, they get an inhibitor without the Lord as well, so now they're just getting so much value out of here. 9k gold lead in GameLab when they're pouring gasoline on this fire that they're creating under A8 Esports. It is burning ablaze. Like, A8 are just suffocating right now.
GameLab finished game 1 in 15 minutes. This is Curtis Aramis standing.
Not to the earlier stages of the game, and I think that's like the biggest issue right now. Like, Arfi is where the timing.
Flicker into a Divine Judgment. That's the front line for AA eliminated. Castle out for half a minute. Lord crashing in. Fondia drag back. Feather airstrike. Basically doing 0 damage. Also kicking Takinaga away, but GameLab is happy with this arrangement. Taking the second inhibitor down bot. The Lord has been eliminated, but GameLab looking for that final push. Arlie needs to go big this time. Aizawa and her boss jumping straight onto Arlie, forcing the flicker. He's gonna queue up in the fountain, but GameLab will crash that top wave. That's the last inhibitor taken away.
Do they have Nibir's Passion? Do they have anything right now? They only have Bennett's Rage, and the rest of the team, as Takinaga just doesn't care.
Cult Alta used early on. Kasu once more kidnapped and gifted on a silver platter to TZ. A8 stops the push, but the base is in shambles.
It is broken here, and A8 Esports are just so far behind. They can farm whatever they want here, but GameLab with the 10k gold lead that they have, 12k even at this stage of the game, can play disrespectfully.
And Fondia dragged so far behind Ozil. Sold out. The Divine Judgment doing so much work. Takinaga forcing Richie to go for that flicker and does lose his life, but GameLab they're going straight for the end. 15 minutes is a bit too much. AA were able to get rid of the Moscow, but Fondia will be traded in return. GameLab has not left this base. They are still sticking around. Arlie taking a lot of damage, still staying alive. AA finally stopping this assault.
Okay, they're finally done with it. They're like, okay, we trade 50-50 there. That should not have happened. We should have absolutely traded up at the very least, and we didn't even get that done. So let's just back up here for a second. 35 seconds until the Lord actually spawns, with the majority of the members of A8 actually in a good position and have actually respawned. So GameLab take the response of actually playing for the side waves. Now look at that. A8 committing onto this Masha. Is it necessary? No, they should split up and start looking for resources, or at the very least have someone like Kesu to walk up into these bushes knowing that GameLab actually haven't responded in time. So at this point, it's too late. The window has shut. GameLab now slowly creeping back and taking back space. First, setting the border in the river, and then eventually moving up.
They kept AA in their base for so long that when GameLab respawns, the Lord also respawns. They've held AA Esports head underwater for the past 13 minutes. You see her boss. Kesu is going to be the one to check the bush, but her boss, he is not worried at all.
Don't get distracted, boys. The Lord's being taken right under their noses, but they also understand that they can't do anything about it. So the next best bet is to actually go for the high ground defense with Beatrix, and as well as, at the very least, with Feathered Airstrike from Richie. It should be enough, but it's a tough battle, a really tough battle.
Her boss just standing there menacingly, waiting for the final moments. AA, do you have your oxygen tanks ready? Because GameLab is about to drown you underwater.
Oh, I mean, what's an opportunity that A8 is looking for? Ooh, the new Rose Gold Meteor coming out from Arfi. As long as he has that shield on him from the Rose Gold Meteor, he actually gains movement speed, which is pretty sick.
It is pretty sick. All the waves are synchronized for GameLab. A8, one final stand. Conceal use. Ozil going out of his base. They actually are chasing over him, so that will buy a bit of time. Ozil doing great. Castle missing a Tyrant's Revenge. They need to buy time to get rid of this Lord. Arlie just unleashing as much damage as possible. The Lord is actually getting burnt out. Havas still staying in the front line. GameLab not coming just yet, and now they start off with the Divine Judgment. Ozil still staying alive. They get the whole. AA stays in this game. Aizawa does respawn, but Yoktizi is already out.
Yep, 2 battle spells expanded for that, 2 flickers from Fondir, and as well as Kesu to ensure that no man is going to walk away without getting punished here. And using the Magic Sentry on the top side gives them all the information that they need. Fortunately, this game is going to get dragged on a little bit longer because A8 refuses to get knocked down to the lower brackets that easily.
We finally get to see AA's management, right? Again, they have played very, very long games. GameLab putting them to the test. Ozil not really finding the kick that he wants, and backup isn't there to help him. But they do have some time. Takenaga straight to the back line. Can they get rid of this Lancelot? Her boss also showing up. Richie already running away, but they got the kidnap onto Arlie. That is the member that had to stay alive, but is no longer in this game. 38 seconds for the Beatrix to come back, but GameLab is not going to give AA Esports that time. It's a slow and suffocating death. Fredrin is already out. GameLab looking for the end.
Yeah, the death timers are really, really long, but who can actually clear these waves? It's going to be Richie. He needs to clear it as soon as possible.
Doltman is drawing attention from A8 away. Keep your eyes on the prize. Her boss will queue back up. The waves are still not in just yet, but Ozil felt like he needed to buy space. But Arlie will come back in 5, but I'm not sure if 5 seconds is enough though. Better airstrike used. Doltman just walks on forward. Richie dives on using the Winter Trunket, but still executed nonetheless. GameLab finishing the first series in just half an hour.
Yep, honestly, they had a bit of an awkward moment there, having blundered their final push, but they just recollected themselves, tried it again, and this time, unfortunately, A8 was the one who makes the mistake, disrespecting the Divine Judgment. So brutal overall, but look at the build that Takenaga decided to go for. He did not want to play tanks a lot. He wanted to play a pure damage snowball-oriented carry.
Just showing back to what the coach said, right, Carlo? The team gives confidence to Takenaga. They have full faith in this guy. No one has been able to stop this assassin player yet.
No one just yet. And even his teammates are just handing them off, handing their hats over to Takenaga, giving him those likes. Absolutely deserves it so far. But yeah, even with what we're seeing